MIBR.
They do, but there is that change that is coming in here within that composition. Let's see what the Harbor can do.
Indeed, indeed. It's time for Match Start, brought to you by Samsung OLED. And I've got to say, I love the call, pulling out the Harbor instead of the Viper here, heat sticking out of the chamber. That's kind of what we came to know that could lead to some success for Crew. Now it just comes down to replicating it at the higher level. Here we go, upper bracket round 2. We've got MIBR taking on Crew Visa. Let's get it on.
Slow start so far. Really not too much being shown right now by Crew. Looking to see if MIBR are going to give anything, but it's just a patient, anchored, bunkered play there on that B side of the map. Trap play off of some information and contact. You see Sadok does try to bait with that information. The timing, though, when it comes down to the 0 point, getting so much value.
Yeah, the knife also forces out that curveball, so forces MIBR to step up in towards A main. That will lead towards this aggression now at B. Spy cam, trap wire, all in position. Follow-up cove from the defense, just trying to see how much the map MIBR can still contest, even though they are not necessarily here yet. Sarah's going to get the easy plant. Now it's down to retake opportunity. No fast lane for Auspice. Keep that in the back of your mind. It's going to have to just be behind what they do with this water wall from Mazzino. Here comes the retake attempt. Opportunity here for Sadok to try to delay, but the flash does not really hit where it's intended to. Sarah able to find first blood. Good pinch from Les. Cannot hit the shots, though. How critical could that possibly be? Site retake is now here, but it's just down to can you actually find eliminations, and so far it is all Crew, and the kill feed Sadok's going to find 3. Last one left alive is Tex, nowhere to go. Crew take the pistol.
Nicely done there by Crew. Picking up this pistol, absolutely huge for them. Again, reiterating what happened the last time we saw them on Breeze. We wanted them to start off on the right foot. And that wrap coming in from Les there was really the linchpin for this round. Yes, Sadok absolutely gets the frags on site, but Les is the one who causes that chaos. It forces the members of MIBR to look to turn around, try and fight into tons, and perfectly played there by Crew.
Really well done. Also just good to kind of know the timing of when they try to take that little challenge over towards A main, the knife revealing so much early. Different setup, of course. MIBR just on basic pistols. You don't expect much drama here.
Already seeing a walkout into elbow there for MIBR, just searching for information on the site that they have stacked.
Opening shot for Heat goes a bit wide, but middle of the map control is good for Crew. Just comes down to how do they want to use this as a pivot point. No immediate focus on towards A main as of yet. MIBR are going to kind of gamble stack just a touch and see if they've guessed correctly.
It's a moment to also kind of feel out for the side of Crew how MIBR are looking to handle that defense. But right now, MIBR, Aspas has a lot of information with this push into elbow. It's such a comfortable hold here for Crew. But again, still a weapons disadvantage. You see now Crew making that rotation over towards that A side.
Well, MIBR have guessed correctly. This will be a finish on towards the A site. Auspice will be way outside of the play, but could potentially go quickly to get back through mid, depending on how messy MIBR can make this hit from the front. Cove Smoke is actually going to block off this entryway. That will allow an extra stack to come through, and I love this from MIBR. They're going to try to clear out that mid-cut to see if they can get that rotation in quicker from Auspice. Initial trade starts to come through. Sadok low on HP, still trying to hold the angle, and it's Zera who has the double to open up the site completely for the plant.
Rotation coming in super late here for Aspas, trying to make his way on that pinch.
Sadok falling, Verno's able to find a second. And now all of a sudden, 2v2. Verno in some trouble. Focus is still over to his direction. He does not have the recon bolt as of yet. When does Auspice make their move? Little shoulder, saw Zera on the corner by the spike. Here comes the next play, not able to connect, Heat able to find the finishing touch, and now it's just down to Verno. Not a lot of health to play with, not a lot of hope in the tank for this one, and Crew will take the anti-eco, though it was stressful.
Yeah, Verno getting a lot more than Crew anticipated, anchoring that backside of A. And we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on Aspas on those positions here on defense. We've seen the transition for him. I think the adjustments from MIBR to see Aspas playing a little bit more forward, taking some of those risks and being the first person to look for some of that contact, but that information is definitely going to be huge when it comes down to the calling there for Mizzino. And those leans that we're seeing, those heavy stacks looking to fight forward.
Here we go, bonus round for Crew. Still going to have a handful of rifles to play with, and Mizzino, who tried to take an early contact over towards A main, is going to get punished by Dante. So early numbers for Crew. That's also going to be a rifle that could be collected here. So Crew's got a lot building early in the first 30 seconds.
Right now, MIBR, see the owl drone going into elbow. The timing could be really good here, but regardless, is going to spot out Heat. Knowing that the chamber is lurking on the B side of the map, expecting that hit at A.
Well, the owl drone will re-clear for Crew over towards elbow, but MIBR once again have guessed correctly here. 50 seconds on the clock. There's not a full commitment yet for Crew. Throwing the knife doesn't really reveal much of anything, so still a difficult decision to make here if you're Crew of, are we actually going to execute on towards A, or are we going to try to take a late peek to B? They have no intel whatsoever there. It's just the fact that they've cleared out the elbow.
Really banking on the double initiator to be able to sell this pinch to the A side of the map. Instead, it actually is going to be the crunch.
Well,
all of MIBR are waiting.
Is Verno going to disrespect the wall? Understeer going to be called out for the attack. Crew able to get on towards site. Dante, lots of information towards the back. Relay bolt will be sent. But is there an opportunity for Les to follow up on that? Able to find the first two. Massive double there. Opportunity to get the spike now on. Zekin trying to challenge. Able to find the first. Dante trying to get the counter, but it's going to be Verno to hold for a moment. It's just not for long enough. Crew's going to take the bonus. And already through 3 rounds, they've matched the tally that they were able to earn versus Bestia just a couple days ago.
Really nicely done. Splitting into A there. MIBR, they had 4 players on site waiting in the wings for Crew's execution. The timing was perfect coming out from Heat on that flank on top of just the opening that we saw Les find through mid doors.
Well, so far, 3 rounds in, hard to really kind of sell anything to you guys right now, but for the moment, MIBR are having a really tough time on the 2 peaks that they've put together over towards A main. And that has allowed Crew to find success getting onto none other than that A site. Sheriffs will largely be in play here for MIBR. There is a running back available for a second if things get interesting, but for Crew, this is about, again, just build the banks, cross your T's, dot your I's, don't do anything crazy, don't scam, don't make a mistake, and cruise your way to a 4-0 start.
Heat on the scoped weapons has constantly been a problem for the teams that Crew face on the attacking side ever since that chamber has been picked up.
Oh, and they see the rifle on the barrel. Tex comes through to find one on the trade. Not able to slip away, though. Good spam from Zera. Make sure that Tex cannot escape. And that's a lot of information for Crew that, yep, there are more than a couple of players here at the cross at A doors. So that will lead to a very quick entry in towards B, and this post plant will be very difficult in the 3v4 for MIBR to break down.
Yeah, you have Heat also positioned into Nest. Actually looking to cut off the rotation, not looking to guard the weapon. I believe that might actually be able to be picked up here into mid.
Though.
Has been tossed away.
Yeah, perfect timing on that. He's able to find one. Can't quite connect on to Verno for the second, but damage is done. The trap is in, and Crew will only drop 1 in the process. This is night and day different than how they looked versus Bestia a couple days ago.
Absolutely huge adjustments coming in from Crew. Just within a couple of days, like you were mentioning, it does help when MW Sarah is going 9-0.
Yeah, that helps.
For certain.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
But overall, we have to remember, this is a Crew that has been rejuvenated ever since their first win before heading into play-ins. Continuing forward with that kind of momentum. Meanwhile, MIBR, they're still trying to pave their way also into playoffs, the first match that we're seeing from them here today.
Here we go. Flash comes through, but the water smoke once again just kind of blocks the effects of the flash, and Dante's going to be able to find first blood. That's on to Auspice, who, I mean, we'll talk about it a lot throughout this match. As a first blood warrior, he's been undeniable this stage. The fact that Auspice is 0-5, 3 of those deaths have been in the first essential 30 seconds of rounds, is so jarring to watch.
The other thing, too, is aside from some of those trap plays that we saw set up for A main, those initial peaks are often unassisted in some of those moments. It kind of brings me back to that one round where we saw Mizzino going for a very similar swing, disconnected. MIBR definitely looking to tighten things up when it comes down to some of these duels that they're taking together.
Yeah, I mean, so far, every single trap play towards A main has been a complete and utter fail. And it's just not at all what this game plan was meant to be. So, null command's going to be spent. That will allow crew to jump on towards this A site pretty freely. Most of the defense not affected by the null command could still try to influence this post plant just a touch by contesting with a little bit of utility behind this water wall. But Les will get the plant. You've got all 4 players ready to go for MIBR. Run it back will be spent first by Zekin. Flashing his way in, not anyone to find though. That's the issue. Follow up, Sadhak right there to stop. Fragment in the back corner. Just trying to distract and deter the concentrated setup of MIBR, who are now making their way back over towards the outside portion, towards the spike. Can they put pressure on towards the spike itself? The wall will fall. Cove will be placed instead. MIBR finding a couple eliminations. Verno almost able to find a double, but not quite. Heat in a little bit of trouble here. Snaps away, and Dante almost able to turn that into a double, but no, instead it's Zekin. A little 1v2 at the end for him, and MIBR finally on the board.
Much needed round there for MIBR. Definitely an expensive one to come away with, but Operator at least saved into the next round here as well. But these main plays are gonna be something we're gonna have to fix up. Unfortunately, there's a little team flash situation in that moment. But I also think that what crew are doing so well is when it comes down to the utility that Sadhak is throwing, that 0 point, it's also making it really awkward for MIBR to try and play that trap play in mid too, because they're trying to get the right timing. And Sadhak is so good at juggling different timings with that 0 point, with those refights, and it definitely gets tough to get aggressive there.
That was a very critical round for MIBR to be able to take. Otherwise, you lose that, you're on a bit of a save, and you're probably hitting the timeout button to talk about what is going wrong. Instead, now you've got full purchase, Hunter's Fury at the ready, and Auspice has been able to earn themselves an Operator. Mazzino able to find first blood from the back side of the A site on this entryway. That will take down Sadhak. So all that extra initiation, or at least stall tactic of using the utility of the KO, is now off the table.
Positioning there for Les on that flank as well. It does get caught out.
It's a lot of information. Heat is going to be absolutely required to do something incredible here. Double curveball comes through. Easy for Zekin to find that pick. Auspice makes this number situation that much more favorable for MIBR. Dante, the secret agent behind the play, had so much to focus on, couldn't find anything in a flawless second round for MIBR.
3 takes now looking much more comfortable for MIBR. When we saw those early aggressive rounds, it was crew who were coming out on top when it came down to those first bloods. This adjustment working out nicely. Now it's on crew's shoulders to find the answer back.
Great stuff. Okay. So now that we've seen MIBR be able to throw in the Operator to the monkey wrench of the system here towards what has been going wrong towards the opening portion of this defense, yeah, I was going to say it might be time for crew to talk about it, because the first bloods, if they're not going to be coming by way of shutting down these trap plays, maybe there's something different that needs to happen. But no, not attack pause, tech pause instead. But the question still stands. How does crew want to try to handle getting those early advantages now that they have to fight into the Operator?
That's the tough part. I think that when it comes down to Auspice's positioning, we are going to see either Verno or Zekin look to set him up on some of those deeper lines. I do think, though, my eyes always get drawn over to Heat. He's been so good at winning out those duels on the attacking side, especially once he has that scope of his own in his hands. Does have the funds for it into this round as well. Definitely could be the answer to see who wins out in that head-to-head.
Yeah, for me, it looks like you could classify MIBR as having the alpha and the omega. Auspice has been the first blood warrior for MIBR. He's definitely been the one to set the tone. But on the backside, when things start to go awry, Verno has been undeniable out of the clutch.
Yes.
From like 36% of his clutches, which is still a pretty insane number when you think about it, considering that he's often one of the last ones left alive. So the fact that you've got that much of a wager into Verno being able to still secure you around against numbers is great news. So MIBR have a lot to play off of when it comes to getting into full force. It's just down to they are one of the worst teams through stage 2 at playing at an eco disadvantage, which has been obviously a bit of a key towards why this half has started the way it has. But now that they're fighting at full force, This is where we start to really feel the power that MIBR have been able to build throughout Stage 2.
And MIBR, they're also this roster where you do not want them to start heating up into this game. Once you have players like Aspas, like Zekin coming online, things definitely start to get scary.
There we go. Let's brought the lock back on in. Monitors back on. That's important. 2 post-plant retakes for MIBR. Full purchase still available for Crew, and we've got a lot of ultimates that could potentially come to play here. Hunter's Fury for both sides, Reckoning for both sides, Overdrive nearly for both sides. So even battle just comes down to the decision of who wants to use what and when. And off the get-go, once more this chamber utility continues to come over towards B. Defensive Hunter's Fury coming out, trying to isolate over towards the elbow. But even though Verno connects, it's an immediate trade from Heat. So we're going to get a 4v4. But the Reckoning is no longer on the table for Crew if they want to use that as a post-plant security measure or as an opportunity to execute.
See the shift over from Crew with the insert still Heat being on the left side of the map. Operator is still waiting in the wings there over at Tons. Might not be watching main, but Aspas will turn once the execution does come in full force.
Lots of trust that Tex can hold behind what is just a single trap at the front doors at B. Aspas would have to move quickly to either get the heck out of there or to assist, as the Aldrone will now make this play known. Also a Cyber Cage down that Tex can play off of. Tries to beat the timing, but doesn't get Dante on the corner. Oh, how key is that? Dante able to shut down Tex. Aspas will retreat back over towards the arches. Defense rotating in.
30 seconds left.
Does Mizzino try to find a way to drop this Reckoning early to get Verno onto the site a little bit faster, but you don't even need to because Sadok will drop to the shock dart. Now you get the water wall up to break down the site. Overdrive for Dante, but he's at 5 health. And that's going to be enough for Verno just to spam through the wall and find the connection. How about that from Verno? 3v2. Zera playing deep does have the Hunter's Fury for post-plant security. Heat would have to still force the play off the spike first and foremost. There's the Hunter's Fury queued. Verno steps away. Aspas able to find one, and now they know exactly where Zera's positioned. You can stick onto this. Aspas holding. Zera needs to be able to find the first. He is back to the pistol. Not going to happen. It's 4 for Verno, and MIBR will get 3 in a row.
Insane coming out from Verno. Previously, the IGL here for MIBR. Mizzino has since picked up that responsibility, and ever since then, Verno being let off of his leash, he has been absolutely lights out, being able to focus on those micro gameplay moments.
How big, though, not only is Verno be able to find the eliminations, but to start things off by breaking off the post plant with the shock darts. Undeniable stuff. Crew dealing with some trouble. They will have the ability to full purchase, and they will have a tour de force with that Reckoning that was earned from the last round. So with that, let's see how Crew try to bounce back with the Crew listening.
Dante flash aqui. Quebra o spot alguém? Alguém fica chicken?
É, o Dante fica.
Tá,
Marca você, Hit, então, aí?
Aham, provável. Tá no pilar.
Guy, vamos correr pra esquerda agora.
Tá bom.
Juntos.
Dante, eu acho que você usa teu stun na DD, viu?
Tá.
Quando a gente for passar. Que pode estar na cara na direita. Tô sentindo no meu bigrau. Tá,
Já
beleza.
tô pronto pra paredar.
Tá. Vamos fazer agora então.
Vou fazer então, bora?
Pera a parede primeiro. Faz a parede, vai. Vai, stuna.
Zone A.
Up meio.
Indo Alpen.
Câmera aqui.
Tô vendo nada A.
Qualquer
É,
viu?
retake A, isso. É, Fênix e
Calma,
Cypher A,
depois
parece.
É, isso,
Mano,
vamos na
vai ser
manhã.
essa parede pra gente
Vamos na
passar.
manhã aqui.
Ó, entra nessa boca de contato,
Três,
contato, contato e você vai ganhar depois.
3 aqui.
Calma,
Vai ter
devagar.
Vamos dar,
Vai ter 4 aí, guys. Boa.
Atrás, backside, Cypher. Foi portal.
Falta na smoke.
Tá, calma.
Não consigo te ajudar, velho.
Backside ainda.
Eu não sei onde tá o só.
30 seconds left.
Mano, ele tá aqui parado
Last
ainda,
player
sai.
standing.
Ah, pegou na passagem.
E...
Valeu.
Well, the hot start for Crew has been immediately counteracted, and maybe there is some proof in the pudding here, not only because Aspas has been able to connect with the operator, but honestly, MIBR just staying alive as 5 beyond the first 30 seconds of the round.
It has been really tough for Crew. They haven't really been able to force any of those early fights out from MIBR to get the picks necessary to be an advantage early into that post plant, even before getting that spike down. This adjustment coming out from MIBR. The Minazino has called for these retakes. Has looked so good. And now timeout to be called on the side of Crew.
Yeah. Lots to talk about here, I think, if you're Crew, because, yes, now we're starting to see 5v5 action unfold underneath a minute to play. If MIBR not trying to throw those same kind of threatening double duelist trap plays, we've seen Crew take the more labored, slow approach. Can we find a way to still break down this defense, push and pull them around the map a little bit, put pressure through mid? It's been there. It just hasn't led to the same success that they had, obviously, in the first 4 rounds. On the flip side, you talk about this most recent round, hey, we're going to try to play with some speed of our own. See if we can kind of catch the defense off guard before they can rotate in. But the problem is, you're getting so much value from Mizzino in these high tides and these coves that are just completely slowing down from Crew from getting beyond the A site, that players like Mizzino, players like Tex in that last round, feel so comfortable in the back of the site. So there is something that Crew need to find out in terms of not just getting on, but can we do some damage to get beyond the lengths of the actual site itself to put extra pressure on the defense trying to rotate in to help.
It's either that or the other option would be really, again, relying on those lurks, late flanks coming in that we've seen previously from Les, going for those backstabs. Something where Crew have made the adjustment to give the respect in that regard into those post plans because MIBR were showing that they're willing to re-clear the space.
Yeah. And honestly, since MIBR have been at full force, they really haven't rotated through mid at all. They just rotated through their spawn and just reinforced from the back of the site. So it's been very easy in certain regards for MIBR right now. Very similar look in terms of how Crew come out of spawn. Heat still just trying to find some information with this op on the B side of the map, but this once again looks like it's just going to be a hard commit into A.
You do have null command available here for Sadak. That's why you're seeing the entire team of Crew looking to group up as 5.
There's the offensive high tide followed by the null command. Auspice does connect on the Sodhawk, but not enough to take him out of commission. Couple of tags, couple of spams coming through. Dante with the find first blood, but caught in the reload. Les gives another one over to Crew, taking Auspice out of the picture. Verno's in some big trouble, but he's able to still find one even while being flashed out by the Storm Surge. So great stuff coming through to at least keep the defense in a position to try to fight this back, but easier said than done. Zekin is back into the picture. Has a lot of tools to play with.
One away from the run it back. Les, though, does have the reckoning if everything does go awry.
And is going to spend it early. Heat able to connect. Rendezvous away. Zera able to follow up. That's more like it if you're Crew. Breaking up the 4 rounds in a row. And Crew up into the lead 5-4.
Nicely done there on the side of Crew. Also want to just give a huge shout out to how well these initiators are performing for both sides. Verno and MW Zera, top of the leaderboard, absolutely owning right now that head-to-head. I can't believe Verno still was able to get one before MW Zera took him out.
Yeah, Crew vibing with that one. That's exactly what you need. Zera is 13-4 after his 9-0 start, having himself a heck of a first half. Auspice looking to challenge a little bit early here over towards A. Coves will be exchanged. Flash comes through with the flashpoint. Verno feeling the pressure, has the Hunter's Fury, tags once onto Dante, trying to find the next connection, not going to happen. And the offense will go back to splitting things up with a minute 20 on the clock.
Different setup this time around from Tex on the side of MIBR. More than happy to play that retake protocol alongside that run it back there for Zekin.
I don't know if they're going to anticipate Zera playing in this position that Aldrin was meant to flush out mid. Instead, Zera is hearing all of this rotation and now is technically behind the play. And it looks like Crew may try to put some pressure from the front of B to see if Zera can maybe get around the back through arches.
The walk-up is going to come in. You have Dante on the other side of the map just causing all of this disruption.
That is brilliant from Crew. Recon bolt will come through. Now you have to try to crunch from the front. You cannot just allow Zera to be sitting here picking between two poisons, and that's not enough. MIBR is finding all the individual 1v1s across the map. This is falling apart in what looked to be a perfect setup for Crew. They can't even get the plant off right now. Less going to be called upon, able to find the first. Tex gets the response. Nope, that's going to come through. It's just Sadok left for the 1v2 and not able to find the connection. And that is a complete folly from Crew after what looked to be a masterful setup.
That was an insane insert that we saw from Crew, getting NW Zera into that position. Definitely tough to not be able to take this round away. And it also relied on Dante on the other side of the map. He was trying to keep that presence over at the A side, but MIBR had such a firm understanding of what the mind games were on the side of Crew.
I mean, kind of. It's just the fact that Crew are so slow to hit through B main that it puts Zera into this really impossible situation of he's got to worry about Tex through arches, you got to worry about any defenders coming from A, and honestly, Tex is getting away with way too much lease on life by sitting in the back of the site right there, not getting any pressure from Crew from the front. It's a big mishap for Crew, who are now finding themselves on a bit of a broken bye. There's a stinger in hand for Sadok, but a quick commitment. Crew are just going to dive on towards the A site behind this high tide, but they don't have any distraction to pull Auspice off the corner. Overdrive is out, relay bolt to follow. Looks like Auspice just wants to do it all himself, and he very well may. Spike now down, and Crew are crumbling behind the defensive pressure of MIBR.
A flawless round there for MIBR, and an Auspice that went absolutely nuclear with that overdrive. When it comes down to the rosters that Auspice has been on ever since he debuted on the big stage alongside Loud, he has attended every single champions within VCT. He's been there with Sadok and Les, as well as Tex and Mizuno.
That's another round right there for Crew where it just doesn't feel as well coordinated as it needed to be. The high tide is out, but your Hunter's Fury is late. You don't clear off the angle that Auspice is holding. Just feels a little bit skittish right now for Crew. MIBR putting it together, and Auspice understands the situation. We're on light armor, so let me pull out the Outlaw. Another first blood tallied. Mizuno able to get the second behind that. And Crew are stuck, just essentially having to force the square peg into the round hole here, front side of A.
Plant will go down. Aldrone gonna spot out at least 1 to 2 players here, and Dante taking out Auspice is definitely huge to try and equalize as far as the numbers that are close by sight.
Oh man. Verno connects again with a shock dart. He'd able to find second though, right before the curveball flex his sight. 2 versus 3, still doable for Crew. But you have to hold. There's the defensive recon bolt out. Zera up close and personal finds the first. Does not initially snap for the second, and Verno finds the trade. Just down to heat. Timing not going to be there. Verno will find 3 in the round, and MIBR will finish off a 7-5 half after dropping the first 4 rounds.
Really lovely tempo change there with the defensive sided aggression coming out from MIBR. The conditioning when it came down to those retakes where they were playing so bunkered on site leading up into this final round where they press that go button. And Crew, they weren't ready for it. It was also a tough position, granted, in that post plant with the high tide coming through. MW Zera, he wasn't going to be able to have that support from Heat in the post plant with that vision being cut off.
But so far, MIBR, big bounce back after the hot Crew start. We'll swap the sides to see if MIBR can take their map, or does Crew have something cooked? We'll find out when we come back after this.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. It all started when I got to the FIFA World Cup, and wow, thousands of Verizon customers.
Oh, you got the free Verizon tickets too?
No, I'm with amazing seats.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And even pitch side access.
Are you? David Beckham.
A Verizon customer.
This used to be for players. Now it's for Verizon customers. No one gets you closer. Only on Verizon.
right, so Aspas, I like to ask this question because, there's a lot of incredible things that you've accomplished. What is the one thing that you wish you could accomplish, or rather experience again, but for the first time?
Winning champs.
Winning champs? Yeah, and like, what was it about that moment? Obviously, the winning and hoisting that trophy over your head, but can you describe like what that feeling was in that moment when you did finally win that trophy?
I think I was very young at the time, and I didn't have like much of a feeling. I was just like, wow, we won.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
So
Would you do it differently this time around?
probably my reaction will be different now.
Okay. All right. So now he just needs to win champs again, which, hey, I think that could very well happen.
Welcome back. Upper bracket round 2 matchup, MIBR after facing the early force of Crew.